phone for a moment, please? Excuse us for a moment. So,
ever since I was born, I've been trained to serve you.
yes, I know this, but I would like to know about you. What do you like to do?
Whatever you like.
What kind of music do you like?
Whatever kind of music you like.
Look, I know what I like, and I know you know what I like because you were trained to know what I like, but I would like to know what you like. For instance, do you have a favorite food?
Yes.
Good! What is your favorite food?
Whatever food you like.
Are you saying that no matter what I tell you...
So, I'm obviously very glad that the Filipino women were nothing like that character in Coming to America. Matter of fact, that they were all great, and I was quite tormented because I really liked both Rose and Ella when I thought that, God, I probably wouldn't like either one of them and all that. So it was really kind of difficult, and I remember one time going out with a friend of mine who helped to introduce me to pedicures and manicures, my friend Brenda. And we had gone to get some pedicures and manicures and to talk and all that because, I was trying to figure out, what was I feeling and, what should I decide and all that. And, after we were done, we actually went to a place that we'd never gone to before. We'd gone for some pedicures and manicures before, but walked out, and across the street was this banquet hall called Sevilla. I mean, basically one letter difference than the name of Sevilla. Kind of looked at her and said, I wonder what this means. But like I said, I mean, I was chatting with both, Rose and Ella when I got back because I, had enjoyed both their company, and I thought that they were, both really, really good people. But one thing that I thought about a lot was, the time that we spent there. The time that I spent with Rose, it was really just Rose and I. I did meet her mom briefly, and I met one of her brothers for a real short time. But with Ella, I met her younger sister and two nieces. We went out a couple of times. Some girls, young girls from the block she lived on, tagged along with us. I met her older sister and her British husband and their two kids in another town. We were walking in a mall one time, and somebody was saying, "Oh, hey, Ella," and this is not a small town that we were in. This was, I would say a town comparable to like a Naperville, over 100,000 people, probably north of 200,000. So it just seemed, she seemed very comfortable around people. And, I got to thinking, well, if I do actually decide to marry one of these women, and I bring them over 7,000 miles away from their home, how are they going to adapt? And I definitely felt like, Ella Sevilla would be able to adapt better in that situation than Rose would. Matter of fact, I felt like if I chose Rose, that there would be a lot of pressure on me to to be her world. And I knew that once they come here, that I'm gonna be working, and they're gonna be alone in the home for 9, 10, 11 hours a day with nothing to do, and neither one of them knew how to drive, so it's not like they could go anywhere. And plus, I only had one car, so that was a big decider. But just also, the small things like her smile and her sense of humor, her laugh, and all that were a few of the other things that attracted me to Sevilla. And I don't know if I projected that, because one day when I was talking to Rose, Rose asked me, "You like Servila better, don't you?" And I really don't know where it came from, but once she asked me, I couldn't lie, and I had to say, yeah, I think I do, a little bit, and she ended the conversation right there, and that was the last we chatted. Now I was still chatting to other people, including Leia and Michelle and Jill and the other people, with the exception of Jessica that I had met on the first trip. And I decided, you know what, I've got to take another trip. I got to go back there and I got to see, if how I really feel about her and all that. And we actually have some pictures from that trip. So let's see if we can get these pictures to come on up. Where is it? All right. So on the second trip, I again met Michelle with a friend of hers. I can't remember what the name of her friend was this time, and all that. It should be noted that Michelle is now living here in America. She actually met a guy and married him, and she is living in the East Coast, and all that. Then my translator, Leia, we met and had dinner again. As a matter of fact, Leia is here in America as well. She ended up coming over through a family member that petitioned her in Los Angeles, and then moved to the East Coast to New York, where she met a guy and got married, and Ella and I were invited to the wedding. So I thought that was kind of weird. And then here's some pictures and on this second trip. There's, of course, me and Servila, and there we are in a jeepney. Only people from the Philippines will probably know what a jeepney is. And there we are in Butuan City, near the city center. It was, this was at Christmas time when I took the second trip. Here we are out to dinner. That is one of her good friends, and that would end up being her bridesmaid with her son.
Maid of honor.
And then here we are at Ella's family's house. Now I brought a lot of gifts for her. The girl that's with her is Trisha. She was lived in the town where Ella was living when I met her, and it was like Ella's kind of almost like her adopted daughter, sort of, because she followed Ella everywhere. And all that. And one thing that I did for Trisha, for Ella, for Ella's sister Evangeline, and her two nieces Eleanor and Mary Grace, who's also in this picture, was I made them all CDs with some of their favorite songs that they had told me about, with CD covers with their pictures on them. And I gave them little portable CD players with batteries, so that they could listen to these, because of course they don't have CD players and all that. So this was Trisha opening up hers, and then we've got Mary Grace opening up hers. The best picture though was Eleanor when she opened up hers. She seems quite surprised, and there is Ella opening up hers, and actually I think in this next picture you can see a little bit of the picture that I put on Ella's cover. I don't know where Evangeline was in this, because I don't see a picture of her opening up hers. But this is a picture, again, we went and visited some relatives of Ella, and actually two of the girls here, the one in the yellow dress and the one between Servila and the boy, actually were bridesmaids at our wedding. And then here's another great picture of us. Yes, people, the Philippines is hot, so if you plan on going over to the Philippines, you don't need to bring long pants. My wife told me to pack a pair of blue jeans on my first trip, and they were completely useless. It's very hot in the Philippines. Flip-flops, shorts, t-shirts, that's all you really need, because as you can see in a lot of these pictures, I'm sweating. Then we have this great picture. We took a trip to Cebu, and we met Jill, another one of the people that I was that I had met on my first trip with her same friend again, and ate at a Korean restaurant where the owner wanted to get in the picture with us. We even took Trisha with us. It was the first time she had ever been on an airplane. And we did a lot of eating at restaurants in Cagayan de Oro, which is where my wife was from. Joe's, how do you say it? Iloquan. My wife will laugh at me for my Tagalog or Cebuano.
Joe's Manukan.
Joe's Manukan, yeah. And you can see here we have, some of the kids from the neighborhood. Trisha's here with us. The two small girls in the front are sisters Love, Love, and Honey. And the other girl next to Ella, Larice, right, is Trisha's relative. And all that. And so those were some pictures from our second trip and all that. The next time we talk, we'll talk about the third trip, which was when we got married. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great night. Bye.